It is 6:30 in the evening. You just set down the food bowl. Your cat walks over, sniffs it, eats a few bites, maybe the whole thing, and then, without a word, without a sound, they turn around and disappear. Under the bed. Behind the couch. Into that dark corner of the closet they never go to any other time of day. And you stand there in the kitchen thinking, are they scared of me? Did I do something wrong? Are they just being a cat? I want you to stop blaming yourself. And I want you to stop blaming them. Because what I have seen in my clinic over and over again tells me one very important thing. When a cat hides after eating, the vast majority of the time, it is not a personality quirk. It is not shyness. It is not fear. It is a physical signal. Their body is telling them to retreat, and they are listening to it. And here is what makes this so heartbreaking. Most pet parents never connect those two things. The bull. And the hiding. They just assume their cat is weird or independent. They call it normal cat behavior and move on. But the hiding is happening right after eating for a very specific biological reason, and once you understand what is going on inside your cat's gut, you will never look at that empty corner the same way again. Today, I am going to show you exactly what is triggering this response, which ingredients you can add to their bowl starting tonight to fix it, and a simple 14-day plan I call the After Bowl Blueprint that will have your cat staying near you after meals, relaxed, comfortable, and finally at peace in their own body. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Nathan Reed, your neighborhood veterinarian. And welcome back to the channel. In my practice, I work with cats and dogs every single day. And one of the most underdiagnosed issues I see, especially in cats, is digestive discomfort that gets written off as personality. Today, that changes. We are going to talk about the gut-brain connection, the most common food ingredients destroying your cat's digestion, 3 kitchen fixes that cost almost nothing, how to audit what is actually inside that food bag, and finally, how to lock in the results for good. Before we go any further, if this kind of deep dive veterinary content is exactly what you are looking for, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Every week I come back with honest, practical, natural health advice for your pets. You do not want to miss it. Now let's get into this. Let's start with the biology. Because before we fix anything, we have to understand what is actually happening. When your cat eats, their digestive system kicks into high gear. The stomach starts producing acid. The small intestine begins contracting. Billions of bacteria in their gut microbiome spring into action. For a cat with a healthy, well-balanced gut, this process is smooth, quiet, comfortable. They eat, they stretch, they curl up in the sun. No big deal. But for a cat whose gut is inflamed or unbalanced, digestion is not a quiet process. It is loud. It is uncomfortable. It can feel like cramping, nausea, bloating, or a deep pressure they cannot explain. And what does a cat do when they feel physically vulnerable? They go somewhere safe. Somewhere dark. Somewhere hidden. This is an ancient instinct that goes back thousands of years. Wild cats are both predator and prey. When a wild cat is injured, sick, or physically vulnerable, including during digestion, they hide so that other predators cannot see the weakness and take advantage. Your domestic cat has that same hardwiring. They are not hiding from you. They are hiding because their body is sending them a distress signal, and they are responding to it the only way their instincts know how. Now, here is the key part. The gut and the brain are connected through a massive communication highway called the vagus nerve. Think of it as a direct phone line between the stomach and the brain. When digestion is uncomfortable, the gut sends alarm signals up that nerve, straight to the brain's emotional center. The brain receives those signals and immediately triggers withdrawal behavior. Retreat. Hide. Stay still. Be small. This is not emotional. This is neurological. Your cat is not sad, afraid, or antisocial. Their gut is in distress, and their brain is responding with a survival program. A sweet 3-year-old tabby named Machi came into my clinic with her owner last fall. Machi had been hiding under the bed every evening for about 6 months. Her owner had already seen 2 other vets. Both told her the same thing: Machi was probably just anxious or introverted. But when I asked this owner a simple question, does she always hide after she eats? Everything changed. We ran some tests. Machi had significant gut inflammation and a severely depleted microbiome. Once we addressed her digestion, the hiding stopped within 10 days. Hiding after eating is a symptom. And symptoms have causes. And causes have solutions. Let me show you the solutions. Now that you know the why, I want you to understand the what. What is actually happening inside that gut to cause this much distress? And the answer, in most cases, is sitting right there on your kitchen counter in that bag of cat food. Most commercial cat foods, including many premium brands, are loaded with ingredients that a cat's digestive system was never designed to process. Cats are obligate carnivores. Their entire digestive tract evolved to break down animal protein and animal fat. That is it. Their pancreas barely produces the enzymes needed to process carbohydrates. Their liver cannot convert plant-based nutrients the way a human or even a dog can. So when you pour a bowl of kibble that contains corn flour, potato starch, wheat gluten, soy protein, or any of the long list of grain-based fillers, you are asking a carnivore's gut to do a job it was not built for. The undigested starch ferments. It feeds harmful bacteria. Gas and bloating follow. And most importantly, that fermentation creates an inflammatory environment that irritates the gut lining with every single meal. This gut irritation floods the vagus nerve with distress signals. And we already know what happens then. The brain says, hide. Now there is one other ingredient I need to name specifically because I see it everywhere right now. Carrageenan. You will find it on the back of almost every wet cat food can as a thickener and stabilizer. It makes the food look rich and gelatinous. But multiple peer-reviewed studies in both human and animal medicine have linked carrageenan to intestinal inflammation and disruption of the gut lining. This is not a fringe concern. This is legitimate science that the pet food industry largely ignores because carrageenan is cheap and effective at making food look good. A client of mine switched her cat from a carrageenan-containing wet food to a simple, clean ingredient recipe with just meat and broth. The cat stopped hiding within a week. 1 ingredient. 1 week. So now the question becomes, what can we add to the bowl to start healing this inflammation quickly, using real food that you likely already have at home? I have 3 kitchen ingredients I want to walk you through right now. And these 3 form the foundation of what I call the after-bowl blueprint. The first ingredient is 100% pure canned pumpkin. Not pumpkin pie filling. Not seasoned puree. I mean the plain, unseasoned, single-ingredient pumpkin that you find in the baking aisle. Pumpkin is extraordinarily rich in soluble fiber, specifically a type called pectin. In the gut, soluble fiber acts like a sponge. It absorbs excess water, it slows down fermentation, it feeds the good bacteria, and it physically coats the intestinal wall, creating a protective buffer against irritation. For a cat, you only need a very small amount. Half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon mixed right into their wet food, once a day. Start with the smaller amount. Their system is not used to fiber, and too much too fast will cause loose stool. The second ingredient is plain, unsweetened kefir. I want to be very specific here because this is where I see pet parents make a dangerous mistake. When you go to the store to buy kefir or yogurt for your cat, you must read every single word on that label. You are looking for one ingredient that can cause catastrophic harm. Xylitol. Sometimes listed now as birch sugar. It is a sugar-free sweetener used in many low-sugar and diet dairy products. Even a tiny amount of xylitol can cause severe and potentially fatal complications in pets. You must only buy 100% plain, unflavored, unsweetened kefir with 0 artificial sweeteners. Full stop. Now, assuming you have the right product, kefir is a fermented milk drink loaded with billions of live probiotic bacteria. When a cat consumes kefir, those good bacteria travel into the gut and begin recolonizing the microbiome. They crowd out the harmful bacteria responsible for fermentation and inflammation. They reinforce the gut lining. They calm the vagus nerve. 1 tablespoon mixed into their food 3 to 4 times a week is a meaningful, measurable change. If your cat is lactose intolerant or refuses dairy, your vet can provide a feline-specific probiotic powder that achieves the same result. The third ingredient is homemade bone broth. I want to be very clear. Do not buy the bone broth from the soup aisle at the grocery store. Those broths are made for human cooking and are almost always seasoned with onion, garlic, chives, or leeks, all of which are toxic to cats. Make it yourself at home. Take plain chicken bones or beef bones, no seasoning, nothing added, and simmer them in a slow cooker with plain water for 8 to 12 hours. Strain it. Let it cool. That is it. The collagen that leaches from those bones into the broth is one of the most powerful gut healing compounds in nature. It directly repairs the gut lining, reduces permeability, what we call leaky gut, and provides deep hydration, which is critical for cats, since most cats do not naturally drink enough water on their own. Pour a few tablespoons over their food at mealtime. Most cats go absolutely crazy for the smell of it. Here is how these 3 work together inside your cat's gut. The pumpkin provides the fiber scaffolding. The kaffir seeds the gut with protective bacteria. The broth repairs and hydrates the gut wall. You are not just soothing symptoms. You are rebuilding the environment so that digestion becomes comfortable. And when digestion becomes comfortable, the brain stops sending that retreat signal. And your cat stops disappearing. Now, those 3 ingredients will do an enormous amount of good. But if you do not address the main food, the thing your cat eats morning and evening, 7 days a week, for years, you are working against yourself. This part is uncomfortable for some people to hear. But as a veterinarian who believes in honesty over comfort, I have to say it. The hiding may not be fully solved by what you add to the bowl. Sometimes, the problem is the bowl itself. Here is how to do what I call a bowl audit. Turn the bag or can around. Look at the first 5 ingredients. In a good cat food, the first ingredient should be a named animal protein: chicken, turkey, salmon, rabbit. Not meat meal, not poultry byproduct. A named, specific protein source. If you see corn, wheat, rice, potato, or soy in the first 5 ingredients, that food is heavily carbohydrate-based. For a cat, again, an obligate carnivore, this is a significant digestive burden. Next, look for carrageenan anywhere in the list. If it is there, it is a genuine red flag for gut inflammation. Now, I am not here to tell you to spend a fortune on raw or fresh cooked food. I understand that is not realistic for most families. But there are clean ingredient wet foods and air-dried foods at accessible price points that contain named proteins, no fillers, and no carrageenan. The label will tell you everything. If you do decide to transition to a new food, please do it slowly. Replace 25% of the old food with the new food for 3 to 4 days. Then 50% for another 3 or 4 days. Then 75. Then fully switch. A sudden food change in a cat with an already sensitive gut will cause vomiting and diarrhea, which makes everything worse, and makes your cat even more reluctant to eat. I had a 12-year-old cat named Winston come through my clinic. He had been hiding for over a year. His owner had tried everything: anxiety medications, pheromone diffusers, even a behaviorist. When we did a proper food audit, his food contained carrageenan, corn gluten, and soy isolate as the 3rd, 4th, and 5th ingredients. We made the switch, added the bone broth and kaffir, and within 2 weeks, Winston was sleeping on the couch next to his owner after dinner for the first time in a year. No anxiety medication. No diffusers. Just real food. Now let me give you the complete structure. The After Bowl Blueprint. This is the 14-day framework that brings everything together. Days 1 through 3, do your bowl audit. Read the current food label. Identify the problem ingredients. Order or purchase the replacement food if needed. Start making bone broth at home. Source your plain kaffir. Days 4 through 7, begin the food transition at 25%. Add half a teaspoon of plain pumpkin to every meal. Add 1 tablespoon of bone broth to every meal. Introduce kefir 3 times this week. Days 8 through 10, move to 50% transition if applicable. Continue the pumpkin, the broth, and the kefir. Pay attention to your cat's behavior post-meal. Are they staying in the room longer? Are they grooming themselves in your presence instead of vanishing? These are early signs. Days 11 through 14, complete the food transition if applicable. Maintain all 3 kitchen additions. By day 14, if you have executed this consistently, most cats will show a measurable change in their post-meal behavior. Some show it earlier. Some take a little longer depending on how damaged their gut is. But the direction will be clear. There are 2 things that tell me the after-bowl blueprint is working. First, your cat lingers after eating. They finish the bowl and instead of vanishing, they sit. They lick their paws. They look at you. They might even rub against your leg. This means the distress signal from the gut has quieted. The vagus nerve is calm. The brain did not receive an alarm. Second, your cat begins sleeping in more open, relaxed positions after meals. Instead of a tight, guarded curl deep under the bed, they stretch out. They expose their belly. In cat body language, an exposed belly is the ultimate signal of safety and comfort. Sighs, my friends, I want to say something before we close. Watching your cat disappear after every meal, day after day, week after week, is a quiet kind of heartbreak. You feed them. You care for them. And they vanish. It is easy to feel rejected. It is easy to wonder if they would rather be somewhere else, with someone else. But now you know the truth. They were never rejecting you. They were responding to pain. They were doing the only thing they knew how to do when their body was sending them a distress signal. And you, by being here and educating yourself, are the reason that changes. Here is your action step for today. Just 1. Go to your kitchen right now and grab a can of plain pumpkin puree or a container of plain unsweetened kefir. That is it. Add 1 of those to tonight's meal. You do not need to do everything at once. You do not need to overhaul the entire routine today. Start with 1 small, real change. That is how healing begins. If this video gave you a new way of seeing your cat, if it gave you hope, please do me a favor and hit the like button. It takes 1 second, and it tells the algorithm that this kind of honest, practical veterinary information is worth sharing. It helps me reach more pet parents who are sitting at home wondering why their cat disappears every night. And if you are not subscribed to this channel yet, please do that right now. Every week I put out real, research-backed, natural health guidance for your pets. No fluff. No scare tactics. Just practical advice from a vet who genuinely cares. Now I want to hear from you in the comments. Tell me, is your cat hiding after meals, or are they showing other signs like vomiting, eating too fast, or refusing food altogether? I read the comments on every video and I love hearing about your pets specifically. Your story might help someone else in this community who is going through the exact same thing. Hit subscribe. Leave a comment. And tonight, go ahead and give that sweet, mysterious, deeply misunderstood cat of yours a slow, gentle scratch right behind the ears from Dr. Nathan. They deserve it. And so do you.